we are kicking things off with the massive infrastructure shift happening right now. Blackstone, through QTS, is positioning itself as the world's largest investor in AI-related infrastructure, pegging the third-party data center opportunity at an astonishing $900 billion before even counting the chips or the power build-out. But wait, there's a serious issue brewing behind the scenes with the QTS site in Fayetteville, Georgia, which posted as collateral for a $12.5 billion bond and was caught siphoning 30 million gallons of water during a drought without paying, until residents noticed their water pressure dropped. This is the reality of the data center boom, and we are digging deep into how private credit is fueling this massive real estate gamble. Kenzie demanded transparency about how these projects affect local health, water, and land, pushing for an immediate moratorium on construction and economic incentives. And finally, we look at local government taking decisive action. In California, Calipatria City Council approved a move toward public hearings on a moratorium to halt new high-energy demand data center projects, giving residents crucial time to examine the compounding strain on local grids and resources before any projects are locked in. This strategic legislative pause shows that communities are drawing a line in the sand, and we want to know how this trend will play out across the country. Stay with us for the rest of the news. The data center boom is being misrepresented as a purely technological story. In reality, it is fundamentally a real estate story heavily financed by private credit. Major players like Blackstone, through QTS, position themselves as leading investors in AI-related infrastructure. Ares estimates the third-party data center opportunity to be a staggering $900 billion, excluding the costs of chips and power build-out. However, underlying these investments are significant risks. For instance, the QTS site in Fayetteville, Georgia, which was used as collateral for a $12.5 billion bond, was reportedly siphoning 30 million gallons of water during a drought without payment until residents experienced reduced water pressure. Industry reporting suggests that many of these data center projects are stalling, with power availability acting as the primary constraint. Concerns are mounting that bonds are being issued against properties that may fail to generate the projected cash flow. Unicus Research is focusing on identifying these critical signals and patterns often overlooked by mainstream analysts. The firm is expanding its team with leading industry experts, including Melody Wright, whose expertise in real estate is proving vital. Unicus Research is actively examining the intersection of data centers, private credit, and commercial real estate. The analysis suggests that conventional media coverage is lagging behind the on-the-ground reality of these markets. The data center sector is experiencing rapid evolution, driven by the demands of AI, renewable energy integration, and grid resilience, leading to significant investment and strategic moves across the industry. A major development is Ford Motor Company's launch of an energy subsidiary aimed at supplying battery energy storage systems, or BESS, for data centers, utilities, and industrial customers. Ford Energy's initial offering is a 20-foot containerized BESS utilizing 512 Ah LFP prismatic cells and a liquid-cooled thermal management system. The announcement spurred a 20% rise in Ford's shares, signaling strong market confidence in the sector. Ford stated that the convergence of these factors has created a market gap that Ford Energy is positioned to fill. In the financial technology space, the convergence of compute power and finance is materializing as the CME Group and Silicon Data plan to launch the first compute futures market later this year, pending regulatory review. This initiative is designed to provide traders and investors with tools to manage volatility and price risk associated with GPU markets, offering more reliable valuation and hedging strategies for AI builders and cloud providers. Meanwhile, technological advancements in cooling infrastructure are attracting substantial capital. Liquid cooling specialist Isotope recently secured a $26 million Series B funding round to accelerate product development and partnerships focused on AI infrastructure. The company emphasized its readiness to scale as the industry demands more advanced, sustainable cooling solutions. On the infrastructure side, efforts to improve grid utilization are gaining traction. GridCare, a startup focused on unlocking grid capacity, recently raised $64 million in a Series A funding round to advance its efforts in increasing power utilization, having previously demonstrated success in the Portland General Electric service area. However, the expansion of data centers continues to face increasing public scrutiny and resistance. Reports indicate that public opposition to new data center development is intensifying, suggesting that the topic is set to become a significant political issue in upcoming elections. While some reports suggest a disconnect between public sentiment and actual service usage, industry advocates stress the urgent need to build robust data centers to support both environmental goals and community needs. Community members in Hillsboro, Oregon, gathered on May 16 to protest what organizers termed a data center disaster in rural Washington County, criticizing political leaders for permitting rapid development with insufficient oversight. The rally, hosted by the Portland Democratic Socialists of America, took place near planned and existing data center construction, aiming to underscore widespread opposition to the environmental and societal impacts of unchecked data center expansion. Speakers at the event included Hillsboro farmer and Portland DSA member Jacob Roloff, Miana Munoz, who is challenging incumbent Senator Janine Salmon for Oregon Senate District 15, environmental justice organizer Malik McKenzie, and artist Roger Pete. Munoz emphasized the need for transparency regarding data center decisions, demanding information on their effects on health, safety, water, land, and electricity consumption and costs. Her comments followed frustration over the city's decision to approve data center tax breaks through 2051, which organizers characterized as a 25-year commitment of public funds to corporations like Google and Amazon. In response to the rally, the city of Hillsboro issued a statement. Communications manager Patrick Preston indicated that due to the existing approval timeline, the city does not foresee any new data center applications being submitted after May 7, 2026, and that this could create a pause in new applications before a scheduled June 6, 2026, moratorium date. Preston noted that the city has scheduled a June 2 City Council work session to discuss data centers. Mayor Pace's statement attributed the city's position to staff working with Business Oregon and the city attorney to evaluate legal obligations. He confirmed that staff were tasked with exploring all options, including refusing approval for new applications. The mayor also stated that discussions with other councilors confirmed that no further approvals beyond the original 17 data center-specific applications would be granted, pending further council review on June 2nd. Polling data from a May 13 Gallup poll revealed significant public opposition, showing that 7 in 10 Americans oppose constructing data centers for artificial intelligence in their local areas, with nearly half, 48%, expressing strong opposition. Roloff declared a firm stance, stating, "We are drawing a line in the sand today. This is our declaration that we will defeat the tech oligarchs and their hand-picked legislators. We must build an economy that promotes human flourishing instead of the current economy that replaces human jobs with AI, leads to world historic levels of wealth inequality, and destroys our health and the environment. Pete called for an immediate moratorium on data center construction and economic incentives at all government levels, urging voters to support alternative candidates. Speakers repeatedly targeted Governor Tina Kotek and Senator Salmon, accusing them of failing to prevent what they described as unchecked development and prioritizing corporate interests over ordinary Oregonians. A small California city is taking proactive measures to safeguard its residents and natural resources against the impending surge of artificial intelligence data center development. The Calipatria City Council recently approved a 4-0 vote favoring public hearings on a proposed moratorium aimed at halting new, high-energy demand data center projects within city limits. If this ordinance gains approval following those hearings, Calipatria could become the first Imperial County jurisdiction to implement such a freeze. This move is being hailed as a crucial step for local households and the environment. Large data centers require substantial electricity, and in California's hot, dry regions, they pose significant risks to local land, water resources, and public infrastructure. By implementing a pause, Calipatria is buying essential time to assess the potential impact of rapid AI-related growth before irreversible projects are finalized. Protective measures extend directly to residents. A sudden influx of power-intensive facilities risks straining local power grids and raises critical questions about who will bear the cost of necessary infrastructure upgrades or increased demand. A moratorium provides city leaders with the necessary space to thoroughly review zoning and land use regulations, ensuring residents are better shielded from escalating utility bills, industrial encroachment, and other unintended consequences. Environmentally, the benefits are equally significant. City staff are now working to refine the language of the proposed ordinance ahead of public hearings, ensuring residents have ample opportunity to provide input before any moratorium takes effect. Despite political tensions reported during the meeting, officials maintained a unified stance on the data center issue, signaling a decision to prioritize community protection over aggressive development. This action represents a strategic legislative pause, allowing local officials to study the compounding strain that rapid AI infrastructure expansion could place on the region. The focus remains firmly on community protection as the area prepares for the next phase of technological growth.